Hey Jenny, you will not believe what rabbit hole I went down this week.
Oh, let me guess. Another one of your tech deep dives? What was it this time, Mark?
Okay, picture this. Banned gadgets, right? Stuff that's technically not supposed to be sold. But you can still buy it all on Amazon.
Wait, seriously? Like, what kind of banned gadgets are we talking about here?
Oh man, it's a wild list. We're talking spy-level stuff, like this thing called the UZIMO Super Sensitive Listen Through Wall device. This thing lets you hear through walls.
Okay, that sounds like something straight out of a spy movie. I'm already hooked. But is that, legal?
Well, that's the thing. According to the FCC, these kinds of devices are a big no-no for regular folks. Only authorized federal agencies can use them.
So it's like a restricted zone, but Amazon's still selling tickets? How does that even work?
Exactly. And get this, apparently only 37% of Amazon users even know these gadgets are available, let alone banned.
Wow, that's a surprisingly low number. I mean, I consider myself pretty tech-savvy, and I had no idea. It makes you wonder what else is lurking in those search results, right?
Right? That's what I'm saying. I was just reading this report from Tech Ethics, and they're highlighting the same thing. It's not just about these specific gadgets, it's about the whole idea of what's accessible online.
Okay, let's dive into this. Episode 145 of Tech Talk, Banned but Not Gone, The Secret World of Amazon Gadgets.
Let's do it. So these banned gadgets, they're basically devices that are prohibited in certain places because they could be misused, like for illegal surveillance or hacking.
And we're not just talking about super obvious stuff, right? It's not like Amazon selling, bank robbery kits.
Haha, no, not directly. But some of this stuff is pretty close. Like, there are these spy camera glasses.
Oh, I've seen those online. They look like regular glasses, but they've got a tiny camera hidden in the frame.
Exactly. And there was actually a case recently, a corporate espionage thing. An employee used those exact glasses to record confidential meetings.
No way! That's a huge breach of trust, not to mention super illegal.
Totally. The company ended up taking legal action, but it really highlights the risks. This stuff isn't just theoretical. It has real-world consequences.
It's like something out of a movie, but it actually happened. I can see why regulators would be concerned. But then, how do they even decide what gets banned?
That's where it gets tricky. See, different countries have different rules. So a gadget might be banned in the US, but okay somewhere else. It creates this gray area, especially for online marketplaces that operate globally.
So it's like a legal patchwork. That sounds like a nightmare to enforce.
It is. And here's the thing about online marketplaces. They're not always great at policing this stuff. I was comparing Amazon's policies to eBay's, and it's pretty interesting.
Oh yeah? What's the difference?
Well, eBay seems to have stricter rules and a more detailed list of prohibited items. They specifically mention a lot of these surveillance gadgets that Amazon doesn't.
So is Amazon just, turning a blind eye to it all?
It's hard to say. They might be relying more on user reports, or maybe they just haven't caught up yet. But it does make you wonder how effective their enforcement really is.
This is making me think about the bigger picture, though. What's the impact of all this surveillance tech being so easily available?
That's what Dr. Bruce Schneier was talking about. He's a security expert at Harvard. And he says it's not just about the legal side. It's about how we're normalizing surveillance in our society.
Right, we're getting used to the idea of being watched all the time. That's a bit unsettling, to say the least.
Exactly. And it's not just governments doing the watching. It's also, potentially, our neighbors, our colleagues, anyone with a few bucks in an Amazon account.
Okay, so on one hand, I get the privacy concerns. But I can also see how some people might want these gadgets for, personal security. Like those nanny cams or something?
Sure, there are some legitimate uses, definitely. But where do we draw the line? When does a security tool become a potential invasion of privacy?
It's a tough one. And it's not just about the gadgets themselves, but also about how they're used. Or misused.
And that's what the user feedback shows, too. I was looking at some Amazon reviews for these gadgets, and it's really divided. Some people are worried, and others are all for it, saying it's their right to buy whatever they want.
So it's like a clash between personal freedom and the potential for harm.
Exactly. And looking ahead, it seems like online marketplaces are going to face more regulation on this front. It's probably going to get harder to sell these kinds of gadgets.
Which, could be a good thing for privacy. But it might also mean higher prices or less choice for consumers.
It's a complex issue, for sure. I mean, we need to find a balance, right? We want to feel safe, but we also don't want to live in a world where everyone's spying on each other.
It's like we're at a crossroads, trying to figure out the rules of the road for this new era of technology.
And these banned gadgets on Amazon are a perfect example of that. They're right at the intersection of technology, ethics, and the law.
Well, Mark, you've definitely given us a lot to think about. It's clear that this is more than just a niche tech issue. It's something that affects all of us.
Totally. And I think it's a conversation we need to keep having. What do you say we make this a recurring topic? We can revisit it in a few months and see how things are developing.
I'm in. It'll be interesting to see what new gadgets pop up or get banned in the meantime. And to our listeners, let us know your thoughts on this. Are you team privacy, team personal freedom, or somewhere in between?
Yeah, we want to hear from you. What are your experiences with these kinds of gadgets, and how do you think we should regulate them?
You can find us on all the usual platforms. Until next time, stay curious, and maybe think twice before you buy that spy pen on Amazon.
Haha, right? Stay tech savvy, everyone. And as always, thanks for tuning in.